At the beginning of the film, showing a special forces team carrying out a mission, they raided the headquarters of the mafia. Their mission was to save a woman named Julia Brooke, who was currently being held hostage by the mafia. Not long after, the special forces team found Julia and then took her out, while killing off the mafia members one by one because they got in their way. Apparently, Julia was the daughter of a conglomerate, so the mafia deliberately kidnapped her to ask her father for ransom. Now, Julia was going to get into the car. But unfortunately, the mafia members came again, so the war was inevitable. In the middle of the battle, a special forces member, Alex, was shot, making him faint. Because of this, the other members had to leave Alex because they thought that Alex was already dead. In the end, the mission to save Julia was declared successful, even though Alex had to die. The entire Special Forces team also decided to retire because they were no longer young. 1 year later, there was a man named Bradley who was riding a horse in his yard. Not long after, Bradley had a guest, and it turned out that the guest was his former captain. Calendar, it is revealed that they were a former Special Forces team that previously saved Julia. Captain Cal's arrival was intended to invite Bradley because in a few days he would get married. Of course, Bradley was happy to hear this because Captain Cal has been single for decades, and finally he would get married soon. Bradley then continued to ask about who is the unlucky woman who will be Captain Cal's future wife. Captain Cal then answered that the woman is Julia Brooke, who they saved in the past. Before leaving, Captain Cal told Bradley that the wedding party would be held at a luxury hotel in the middle of a remote village. Shortly, one day before the wedding, Julia and her family were seen at the hotel. Julia was very grateful to her father because he was always kind to her. Not just to her father, Julia also thanked her younger sister, Lisa. Not long after, Bradley came because he would help Julia's family in preparing for the wedding tomorrow. Here, Julia asked where Captain Cal is now. Bradley just said that Julia's future husband was in the bar room with one of their colleagues. At the same time, Bradley was seen getting to know Lisa, Julia's sister, and it seemed like they liked each other. When everyone gathered, Julia's family was visited by the hotel manager to show all the rooms in the hotel. Tomorrow, all the rooms would be closed to the public because Julia's father has reserved all the facilities in this luxury hotel only for his guests. The scene then moved, showing Captain Cal who was chatting with his another colleague, Anders. Apparently, Anders was also a former member of Captain Cal's team in the Special Forces, and he took part in the mission to rescue Julia 1 year ago. Here, Captain Cal asked where Anders had been all this time, because they had just met again since retiring from the military. Anders said that he had always kept himself busy in nightclubs since his wife died 4 months ago. Then Julia, Captain Cal's future wife, came to see them. Anders was surprised when he saw Julia, because he just found out that Captain Cal's future wife is Julia, the woman they once saved a year ago. In the evening, all the bride and groom's families were seen together, enjoying dinner. Anders then approached the female pianist, whose whole body was covered in tattoos. Anders also tried to play the piano and made the tattooed woman feel impressed by Anders' piano playing. Not only that, Captain Cal and Bradley were also surprised when they found out that Anders could play the piano. Here, Captain Cal entrusted his wedding ring to Bradley because Bradley was the one who would be his best man at the wedding ceremony tomorrow. A few minutes later, Captain Cal was called by Julia, while Bradley was suddenly approached by Lisa, Julia's sister. Lisa, who was really interested in Bradley, immediately took Bradley to the swimming pool. Bradley was a widower and had been lonely for a long time, so he accepted Lisa's invitation with pleasure. When they got there, Lisa didn't say much. She immediately went down to the swimming pool, and at that time, she and Bradley got carried away, involved in romantic things. The next day, before the wedding started, Julia's father approached Anders. Here, Julia's father thanked Anders because in the past, he also took part in the mission, saving Julia. Julia's father couldn't imagine that if Anders and Captain Cal had not succeeded in saving Julia, maybe she would never come back again. Anders just smiled and invited Julia's father to drink while waiting for the wedding to begin. The scene then showed Bradley and Lisa, who had just woken up, they both slept all night at the swimming pool. Realizing that the event was about to begin, Bradley and Lisa rushed to their respective rooms to do some preparations. A few hours later, Julia and Captain Call's wedding started. However, Julia's father looked staggered because he drank a lot with Anders. On the other hand, the hotel manager came to the CCTV control room, bringing a cup of coffee. Then, the manager gave the coffee to his colleague who guarded the control room. However, not long after that, the man instead fainted because it turned out that the manager had poisoned the coffee. Here, the manager immediately contacted someone and said that everything was safe. It could be confirmed that this manager was planning something for Julia's family and Captain Calendar besides. The wedding ceremony was about to start. However, Bradley lost the wedding ring because previously, Captain Cal entrusted the ring to Bradley. After that, Bradley asked them all to wait because he was going to look for the wedding ring. Lisa also came looking for it with Bradley because it seemed like the ring fell in the swimming pool when they were together last night. The scene shifts, showing a group of masked men who suddenly arrive. It turned out that these people were a group of mafia, and they were previously contacted by the hotel manager. Without saying much, these mafia immediately massacred the chefs in the kitchen. The hotel manager saw it all, and he didn't even think that the mafia would act as brutally as they were. It was revealed if they were led by someone named Alex. He was a former Special Forces Captain Cal's colleague. He was thought to have died during Julia's rescue mission. It has not been told what Alex's intentions in attacking Captain Cal and why he is still alive, but later it would be revealed. Shortly, the hotel manager was scared, so he asked for permission to go home because Alex's task had been completed. The manager also asked Alex for payment according to what Alex had promised, but Alex instead did this and then asked the manager to take him to the CCTV room. When they arrived, Alex also immediately finished off the manager's friend, who was still unconscious. On the other hand, Lisa had managed to find the wedding ring. Then she immediately gave it to Bradley, so the two of them immediately headed to the party venue. But when they were about to enter the elevator, suddenly there was an explosion like a bomb. Bradley suddenly realized that things weren't going well. While at the wedding party, Julia, Captain Cal, and the others were still waiting for Bradley to arrive. But suddenly, they were attacked by a mafia group led by Alex. Everyone then scattered away to save themselves. However, the mafia kept attacking them and even reached the casino room. Captain Cal, who didn't want to stay silent, immediately fought back to attack those men. Captain Cal asked Julia to go to another room through the kitchen, while he would follow along with her father, who was still staggering. On the way, Captain Cal was successfully beaten by one of the mafia members, causing him to fall unconscious. However, when Captain Cal was about to be finished off, suddenly someone tried to save him, and it turned out that it was Anders. In another place, some of the guests who were still safe were held hostage by the mafia. Meanwhile, Julia, who had just arrived in the kitchen, ran into Alex, the mafia leader, who had just locked the access, so no one could get out of there. Luckily, Julia was able to hide so Alex didn't find her. Not long after, Alex went to the casino room, and there he met his right-hand man. Alex's man said that he could catch Julia's father, who limped because he was very drunk. They took Julia's father to the front room and immediately woke him up. At the top of the room, Bradley and Lisa had just arrived, and Lisa was shocked when she saw all the chairs were messy, stained blood. She also saw her father, who was being held by Alex. At the same time, Lisa and Bradley were attacked by Alex, but fortunately, they were both able to escape and went to the hotel room. Bradley couldn't believe that the person who attacked them was Alex, because as far as he knew, Alex was already dead. Bradley didn't understand why Alex had done this. Not long after, one of Alex's men arrived, but of course Bradley was able to finish off him easily. Meanwhile, in the kitchen, Julia was still hiding, but soon after that she was found by another of Alex's men. After that, Anders asked Julia to stay here while he would try to fight the other mafia members. But when Anders left, suddenly a mafia member came and immediately took Julia to the CCD room. There, the mafia member attacked his own colleague and made the hotel manager become the target of a stray bullet. It was seen that the mafia member had been cornered, and when his mask was removed, it turned out to be Anders, who disguised himself. But fortunately, when Anders was about to be killed, Julia had the courage to do this. Then, Anders asked Julia to stay in the CCTV room and never go out before this was all over. On the other hand, Alex, the mafia leader, was currently interrogating Julia's father. Here, Alex asked Julia's father to transfer all the money in his account if he didn't want Julia and Lisa to die. Hearing this, Julia's father clearly refused, even threatening Alex back, so he was furious, and this is what he did. Julia's father couldn't stand the torture from Alex, so he finally said that he would give Alex $1 million. However, Alex didn't want it because what he wanted was all the money in Julia's father's account. In the end, Alex took Julia's dad to the CCTV room because there they could access the account via the computer. On the other side, Captain Cowell was looking for Julia, but he instead met Alex's man and got shot in the chest. Luckily, Captain Cowell was safe, then ran away to another room. On the other hand, Lisa and Bradley were looking for a satellite phone to ask the police for help, considering that all the networks in this hotel have been hijacked. Not long after, Bradley heard some people coming, so he asked Lisa to stay here while he was going to face them. After that, Bradley immediately killed Alex's men one by one. Lisa had now managed to get a satellite phone, but unfortunately, she was caught by Alex's right-hand man, so she couldn't do anything. Fortunately, Bradley arrived on time and immediately dueled with Alex's man. Bradley, who was tired, was overwhelmed and fell to the ground floor. Seeing this, Lisa tried to run away, but Alex's man kept chasing her. In the end, Lisa was cornered in the swimming pool, so she could only surrender. At the same time, Captain Cowell came and immediately fought Alex's man. However, Alex's man was really strong, so he was able to corner Captain Calendar at the same time. Bradley suddenly came and managed to finish off Alex's man. Apparently, Bradley still managed to survive even though he had fallen from the top floor. On the other hand, Alex came to Julia while holding her father as a hostage. Julia was forced to open the door to the CCTV room because she was afraid that her father would be killed. Here, Alex immediately accessed the computer so that he could get all the money in Julia's father's account, but this could not be done because only Lisa knew the account password. Quickly, Alex left while holding Julia hostage while the father was left alone. In another room, Anders managed to kill one of Alex's men who was in charge of holding all the guests. As a result, all the invited guests were safe, including the pianist. On the other hand, Bradley and Lisa have made it to the CCTV room, but they only find Julia's father who was injured. Here, the father asked Bradley to immediately save Julia because she was taken by Alex. A few minutes later, Captain Cal, Bradley, and Anders managed to find Alex, who was holding Julia hostage in one of the rooms. Here, Captain Cal apologized to Alex because he had left him during the mission in the past. Captain Cal swore that he thought Alex was dead, and there was no time left to bring Alex's body. Then, Captain Cal also asked why Alex was doing all this. Alex answered that this was all his revenge against Captain Cal, because he was hurt by being abandoned when he was dying. For months, Alex was tortured by the Mafia boss until finally, Alex managed to fight back and kill the Mafia boss. Hearing this, Captain Cal asked Alex to just kill him so that everything would be even. Alex agreed and was about to shoot Captain Cal, but suddenly, this is what happened. Alex was defeated by Captain Cal, causing him to die. After that, Captain Cal was approached by Julia, while Anders was approached by the pianist, and Bradley was approached by Lisa. Now they all decided to protect each other. The end.